Okay, in this video, I'm going to take a backup of a AccuSQL database using SQL Server Management Studio. Then I'm going to restore that to a new name. Now, I've got a database called AccuSQL. What I'm going to do first is rename that AccuSQL 2015. That will be my archive database. Then I will restore that AccuSQL 2015 database to AccuSQL. So I'm going to name it AccuSQL. Now, why do I do that? Let's say that we have a lot of AccuSQL stations and they're pointing to a database called AccuSQL. Well, when I restore that database to that same name, then I don't have to go to the client computers and change the database location. It will still be set to the same place. Okay, so I'll open SQL Server Management Studio. And log in with SA credentials. Okay, now let's take a look at my databases, and these are out on a server, by the way, not this PC. But here I have an AccuSQL database. Okay, this is going to be my archive, so I'm going to right-click and rename this database and call it 2015. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to right-click and do a task backup. And I'm going to back it up on my server somewhere where I can get to it. So now I'm just going to save my file somewhere. And let's see here, I've got a folder here I can get to. And I'm going to call this AccuSQL.bak. And you can see here I'm doing a database, I'm doing a full backup. So you want to make sure you select that. I think it is by default. And I'm backing it up to disk on a folder where I'm going to ultimately restore it. So I'll do OK. It backs up the database. And I'm done. So now I'm going to go to databases, right click, and do a restore database. I'm going to go find that database from device. And got to go find it on my server here. And right here, AccuSQL back, I'll do OK. Now I have to give it a name, and remember I want to call it AccuSQL because that was the original name. This will ultimately be my production database, and I want to do restore here. Click OK. And now that's complete. I need to do a refresh here to see that new database. And there it is. So now I've got AccuSQL 2015, the original that I'd renamed, that I then restored to the name AccuSQL. So now all my clients, if they're pointing to AccuSQL, they'll be none the wiser. They'll be using this database. Now the next step, what I would do is open AccuSQL itself. And I'm not pointing to the AccuSQL database. I'm pointing to a different one, but you would be pointing to that database. Anyway, if I wanted to, I could change to that database. I don't even know what's in it. Save. Tells me I need to exit for changes to take effect. Exit and reopen. Okay, so now let's see if I have anything in here. And I do. I have students, I have categories and activities. So for argument's sake, let's say that all of my categories and activities, I want to leave those intact because the students sign into those the same way they did last year. Okay, but what I can do is go to database delete here, right here, And I can pick and choose what I want to remove from my database. So if I want to remove everything student related, I can merely click these student items and then I'll delete all my student records. This is nice because my activities, my categories, my staff, any of the other items that I don't want to remove, I can keep and then merely get rid of my student records. Now, I don't want to do that with the database, but you get the idea. Once I do that, I'll delete selected. It will remove that information, and then I go look at my students, and I wouldn't have a thing here. Okay? And that's all there is to it. Thank you.